Sport fans, I'm Michael Sakala.
And I'm Brandon Wicker.
And how the hell are you? Said, hey, I missed you last week. Where were you, big guy? Huh? From what I understand, you were at the, Church of Rainbow Field when you were praying?
Here we are back at Melacino's now, eating taco pizza.
Taco pizza. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I was involved in the pews there.
Sweet.
I used my reverse psychology on you to get the Packers into the
championship. I see that you won with the Cowboys, and I'll tell you what, it was a great. I mean, I will talk about it later on, but I mean, every time these two play, it's an instant classic before the kickoff. And again, we had another great, unbelievable finish, and I just can't wait till next year to play again.
I was trying to pick outside the box a little, get different teams in there. That's the other reason I was hoping for KC because. Now we have the Patriots.
I could go with KC for a simple fact. I don't think they have a chance in hell going into New England. And I think Pittsburgh's got a fighting chance, but that's besides the point. So we can go on.
There's stuff to talk about on that too. But first, we just want to, before we get into what's going to happen on the championship games and maybe what happened a little bit last week, there were 6 coaching positions open, 1 by default.
Yeah.
In Denver. I was going through it. It was just interesting. Jacksonville had hired Doug Marrone.
Yes.
As an offensive line coach. He was the one in Buffalo right before Ryan,
mm-hmm.
and he had a year left, and he opted out because he thought he was going to get picked for another team. And
yeah,
it didn't happen. No, but it didn't happen.
No,
he wound up with no coaching job. So then he wound up getting Jacksonville as an offensive line coach, and then when they just got rid of Gus Bradley, he's now their head coach. So Doug Marrone and Jacksonville.
He's got a lot of work ahead of him.
The Broncos take a former, running back. He was the Dolphins defensive coordinator last year, Vance Joseph. I don't know if you ever remember him as a running back.
I don't remember him as a running back, but I will say, I guess we're due to history, we're going to give Elway a pass on this one and hope he knows what he's doing because so far he's been pretty spot on with all the stuff.
Right. And apparently they knew a lot about him, and maybe at one time had him on their team. Like I said, he was the Dolphins defensive coordinator last year.
Yeah.
The Bills, they take the Redskins offensive coordinator, Sean McDermott.
I kind of like that one. I mean, the Redskins, this year at the end of the day, they had a pretty good team. They had a pretty good
I'm sorry, I got that backwards. He was Carolina's defensive coordinator.
Oh, wait a
minute,
yeah, you're right.
That guy was Carolina's defensive. I was looking wrong at the paper.
No, but
and Carolina's had the stout defense, and the Bills have. Well, that was one thing that happened to Ryan. He never had the full charge. He was only there 2 years, and this guy's got the same thing going. He's not in charge of the roster, so he's given the roster and he has to make do.
Yes.
But they already have a passel full of pretty good defensive players, and we know what he did at Carolina. They've been great defensively.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So here's another one now. Now we go to the Rams. They're the ones who can do it.
They got the. Isn't he 31 years old or something? He's I think he just got his driver's license.
I think he's 20.
Tell you what, though, I heard him in an interview. He says all the right things. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're in LA. They're trying to get some excitement going on. That whole mystique.
Sean McVay was named, and he, interestingly, because Denver got their new coach, so all the whatever was underneath Kubiak was gone, so he selected already Wade Phillips as his defensive coordinator.
And guess what? He's a good defensive coordinator.
And look at the potential the Rams have with
they should be.
players.
They could be tough again.
Okay, then we got the Bills take Anthony Lynn. And he was a running backs coach.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, the Chargers, which are no longer the San Diego Chargers, by the way, they're the LA Chargers. But Anthony Lynn goes from being the Buffalo Bills running backs coach to the head coach for the new LA Chargers.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take you before you pronounce that one correctly?
The LA Chargers.
No more San Diego.
Yeah, I seen the logo for the helmet. Kind of looks like the Dodgers. I did see the Raiders one. That one's kind of cool looking, but I think the Chargers they're like a what do you call it, an endangered species list. They're going to be. I'm saying it. I've been saying it for years. They should have got rid of Rivers when they had the chance, and they may have been able to do something. So
I give them a heads up for this. They turned around and hired Gus Bradley, who was let go by Jacksonville, as their defensive coordinator. Of course, he was the former Seahawks defensive coordinator. So one thing, they should have a formidable defense.
Here's a question with regards to the Chargers, the LA Chargers as we call them. Is this, and do you at least get something for him? Keep in mind, Rivers has got like 8, 9 kids. Does he really want to move the Brady bunch all the way over to LA? Maybe he just wants to stay where he's at and go somewhere else.
It's not that far from San Diego to LA.
Yeah, but you ever tried with not 8 kids? I can tell you right now.
You might save a little money getting away from the Disney World.
Yeah.
And the one I skipped over, I wanted to come back to because they're still in it, and that's the Falcons are apparently going to lose their offensive coordinator. He's going to be the 49ers coach.
Really?
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I do.
The only thing here, though, this is what I'm saying. Remember before that, you have a buddy you're going to talk about later on you've been tweeting with who's a Jets fan. Once upon a time, Kyle Shanahan was the Jets offensive coordinator.
Yes.
And they didn't have a whole lot of great offense. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Look at the difference of what he has to work with in Atlanta with Ryan, all the receivers,
This is
that
true.
double-headed running
You're
back.
absolutely
Now,
right.
wait. Now he's going to go to 49ers. What do they have?
They have,
They have Carlos Hyde, who keeps getting ankle injuries every time he carries the football.
They have
washed-up quarterback.
they have Kaepernick.
They washed-up quarterback.
They have nothing.
They have-
You're right.
They have nothing.
Nothing, and they're going to do another
So
one. They're a dying
it's going to
breed.
be tough. I'm saying he's not going to step in, and we're going to see the Jim Harbaugh type turnaround of the 49ers. I am saying that the quarterback for the 49ers is not even on the roster.
You're absolutely right.
Even as good as Shanahan is with QBs, it would take him time,
Yeah.
to even turn the other one around.
Yeah.
It's just not there. But interesting where these
I think
changes.
all those teams and the changes and the coaches, I don't think not one of those teams you mentioned are going to be any better than they were this year. If anything, they're all going to get worse.
The interesting ones to me is going to be the Bills and the Broncos
Yeah.
as far as staying the course. Like,
Yeah.
if they don't fall down. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
you're done. All right. So now at this point, like we do every show, we go to our favorite segment that we all like, stinker of the divisional round, and I'm going with the 6'8", 235-pound turd from the Houston Texans, Brock Assmuncher. Basically, this guy.
Can you say that on the air? Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I tell you, I mean, I honestly think that the upper management coaches need to do something. They got a $70 million investment. I say about a week or two after the Super Bowl, they need to call this guy in, have him start watching film, and teach him the basics. I think he can make it, but he needs to be taught. I think on a one-on-one, no pressure that you're playing this weekend in the game. Just have him coach. I know you're not allowed to coach. There's rules on that, but I'm pretty sure there's no rules on watching film and just going over basic fundamentals. Every time I watch him, I think I was telling you, it seems like he rifles the ball on every pass, whether it's a 50-yard bomb or it's a little dump off. He rifles the damn thing. Maybe because he's so freaking big. I don't know. He's got the talent. Obviously, he's got the size. He's got everything. I think they just got to work on his fundamentals. But as of right now, you can't go into a game against the New England Patriots and throw 3 interceptions. That just doesn't work.
Well, the defense kept him in there momentarily, but it just wasn't enough. I knew he couldn't handle it.
Then, let's get right into it. I mean, last week, what I learned, I'm just going to talk about the winners. You tell me. What I learned is that, Tom didn't have his best game. He got hit and he got pressured a lot, and he still hates to be hit, and he turns into the crybaby that he is. But their defense made plays, and their special teams pretty much held up and let them win that game. At the end of the day, if Assmunch would have probably played a little bit better game, it would have been a lot closer than the actual game itself was.
And I'll chime in on the end of that and just tell you that it showed me that New England is beatable. They don't have that special team, where everything is gelled together.
Yeah. What I also learned on was with Hotlanta, Manny Ice is in that team. They're a scoring machine, that double-headed dragon. I mean, between Coleman and Freeman, they had 25 carries, 102 yards and a touchdown. They had 7 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. Julio did what he normally does. He had 6 catches and a touchdown. And their defense holds its own. I mean, they do what they need to do. I think that when it comes down to it, this team they at least for at least the first round, they at least seem to be able to handle
Right.
somewhat of the pressure, you know. But
Yeah, Atlanta showed me just about what I thought through the whole game. I'm not going to repeat what you said, but those are the factors.
And then what I learned about the Packers game was that was one of the best playoff games we've had in a while. That actually, I gotta say, I think it actually beats out the 2014 game with the no-catch game. And I'm making a statement, NFL, if you're listening, the Packers and Cowboys should have to play each other every year, at least for the next 3 to 5 years. This game is exciting, it's electrifying before it even starts. Look at the kind of game you get. You know what you're going to get with Rodgers, and now he's going to be battling back and forth with Dak. It's an instant winner. Anyway, this is basically we're looking at, just like they used to do with New England and the Colts, with Peyton against Brady. These two should have to play each other, just for the simple fact that it's a great freaking football
He
game.
just wants to be able to rib me. That's his only.
No, I'm telling you. I mean, come on, we all watched that game. The game was incredible.
Yeah.
Rodgers is dead. Basically, he takes it to the next level at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and I said it. He's got more dance moves than Michael Jackson in the pocket. It's unbelievable how this guy knows how to extend the play. And then he just throws the ball on a dime when he's running. At this point, it's an absolute pleasure to watch him, knowing that we're watching some dude right now. He's got such drive and motivation to win, I guess, to prove his critics wrong. This way, he can just send a check to the family. Doesn't have to keep talking to him anymore. At the end of the day, this dude is going to be a tough out to follow coming into this week and then possibly even next week.
Tell you what I learned about the game.
What's that?
If you go to church and pray, your answers can come true. I learned that from Gary.
Well, what I want to know is if you did get, I want to see if there's a Snapchat or whatever, or if I go about if there's a Snap face or a face chat out there of you on your knees praying, I need to see it. Lastly, what I learned about Berg is the Killer Bees again got it done. I mean, Big Ben had 224 yards, but Bell came through. He had 170 yards, and he just seems with that stop and go, hesitation, pause, patient running seemed to, it was a tough game, but at the end of the day, Pittsburgh held on. I know there's a couple of controversy calls, but I do think that the Killer Bees are they're a tough act. They're tough, the three of them. You put them together, they will sting you, as we put it.
I was unimpressed with Pittsburgh. I was hoping they would be the team. Well, actually, I picked Kansas City, but after what I saw, I was hoping they'd be the team to knock off the Patriots.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go down a limb if I take them. But anyway, when I watched the game, the only thing I can say is you're off for Kansas City's defense. They played outstanding.
Yes.
They gave the offense a chance. But,
Yes.
but we had the same old Andy Reid type game
Of course.
plan that just they basically shot his own team in the foot.
And-
You let your running back carry the ball 8 times for 35 yards.
And I'll leave you on this
That's
note
it.
with that game. That game should have definitely been a 1 o'clock game because after the Packers-Cowboys game, the world was toast. Nobody cared anymore. Nobody wanted to watch. Unfortunately, I feel bad for the Pittsburgh and Kansas City people. I got news for you. Nobody wanted to care or watch you guys play. We were wore out. We wanted to sit and do the post game about the real football game, which was the Packers and Cowboys. And unfortunately, you guys played at 8 o'clock, and half the country watched, but the others, like most of us, we watched the highlights on ESPN because who cared? Really, at that point, it was too good of a game.
And now I've heard rumors of Kansas City contemplating going after Romo. But I'm just saying, as if Alex Smith was the problem. I think the game plan was the problem more than anything.
I heard the rumor, and I've been tweeting it all week, of the Houston Texans possibly trying to make a trade for Watt and Romo. What? Come on, what? Give me what? Come on.
They're not getting Watt.
No, I don't think so, but it's exciting to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not to mention, he would look good with a star on his helmet. And let me tell you what.
You wish.
Now, at this time, we're going to get in. We got 2 insanely great football games. Get this, we got 4 teams left. There are 3 out of the 4 teams in this, their quarterbacks have won the actual Super Bowl. I mean, you got to go back in time and to figure out at what year did we have the remaining 4 teams where 3 out of the 4 had a winning Super Bowl quarterback one year. And I think Guy was on the radio. I think it was like in '93. I want to say it was the Dolphins against the Bills. Jim Kelly was in the Super Bowl, and you had I think San Francisco and in Dallas, whereas they were in the Super Bowl. So there was 3 out of 4 that went to the Super Bowl, but I don't know if we ever had 3 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in the championship at the same time. I have to do some research on that one. But what I'd like to do is we have a possible special guest that wants to come on this show for the first time. I'm hoping I can get him to come up here and talk a little bit. He goes by the name of Johnny.
Got an awful big head.
Yes, he does. Johnny, come on, Johnny,
Much,
get over here.
much like his father.
Come on. All right. So here, let me pull you. I'll pull this out. Here, hold on. So Johnny, how you doing, Johnny? You got talking this so people can hear you. You're pretty good. All right. So what we're going to do, Johnny? Now we're going to talk about the first game, the championship game. We're going to ask everybody so they can understand the the Green Bay Packers are traveling to Hotlanta. Brando, what do you got for this game going into this one?
It's really my first time to be able to talk about it because I was in church last week. But I'm watching the Falcons. They eerily remind me of when the Packers won with Rodgers in the beginning of 2010 or whatever. They got healthy at the right time. Their defense is looking good. Of course, we know their offense is looking good. Possibility Rodgers might be minus his two best receivers. I'm not using that as an excuse, but just the way Atlanta looks, they're playing just enough defense. They're lights out offense. As much as you like Rodgers, of course I do. It's my team, but I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Really? Okay. Now I got some notes on here. Again, you got Rodgers against Miami Ice. One of the questions, and I was talking about earlier, one of the questions a reporter actually asked Miami Ice, how does it feel to be the one quarterback that is not yet won, let alone won in the Super Bowl? And his answer was basically not yet. And like I wrote on here, watch yourself, Grasshopper. No need to get crazy and start talking all that. You need to win the game first. I put on here is, what do the Packers have to do to shut down or slow down the double-headed dragon? And to me, with Coleman and Freeman, I think you got to emphasize the run. Maybe just have it when they become pass-oriented. You can't let them run the ball the way they do.
One thing, you have to get that team down, but they're hard to get down when they score so often.
Yep. And then, what does Atlanta, or should I say Hotlanta, need to do to try to contain Rodgers? Because when this guy runs free and does his moves we all see he can throw on the dime like no other quarterback can. I think they got to stay in their rush lanes, and they can't overrun things. They got to kind of contain.
Green Bay once again has to play a mistake-free game. And did you see that play last week against your boys, where Adams' ankle got completely twisted?
Oh yeah.
That's going to be. Can he really play? Because without him, it just leaves him with Randall Cobb and a bunch of.
Well, I wrote that down also. The big question from a wide receiver standpoint: Nelson Adams, are they playing? And can Hotlanta get Julio Jones started early? Because once he gets going, he opens up everything for that offense because he's just such a beast.
And there was talk that Nelson would try and play, but I don't know that a 50% Adams and Nelson is good enough.
Yeah.
Rodgers will be fine. It's just where will the mistakes come from? People running wrong patterns. It's a heck of a time for that to happen.
What I'm doing on this one, I can't go against Rodgers. I'm taking the Packers 38-37. Hey, Johnny, who do you like? Do you like the Green Bay Packers or the Atlanta Falcons to win this game?
Hey, there's two for
Green Bay Packers. Look at you. All right. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling
Were
to
you
the
coached
New
in making
England
that?
Patriots. Who do you got, Brandon? What do you got on Pittsburgh going to the unstoppable force, the New England Patriots?
Like I said, I don't see the usual. I see it where the Patriots can be had. You need one of them offensive games out of the Steelers, like they're capable of, like they put out Miami. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Bell has to run like Bell can run. He's going to do like last week, get 150 yards. That's the kind of stuff that's going to keep Brady off the field. And Roethlisberger has to throw the daggers. That's it. It can be done. The Steelers are going in with less of a defense than they've had in years past when they're making a playoff run. they can definitely beat the Patriots, even as hard as it is at home. You know,
Yeah.
from what I've seen.
Now, here's an interesting fact, and I could not find, doing my research, I didn't really do a ton of it, but Tom Brady and Big Ben are going head-to-head in the AFC Championship. Have we ever had two past Super Bowl winning quarterbacks playing each other in a championship game?
Yeah.
We have who? I was trying to think of it. I cannot think of any championship game where it was two past Super Bowl winners head-to-head. Other than, I guess maybe we can say last year, last year Denver in New England, you had Manning who won one, and I guess Tom won. Okay, so that kills that theory, huh? Well, I also, like you said, how does the Patriots handle the killer bees, especially if we get the run and stop, patient running Bell? I think Bell is the key to this game. You have to keep Brady off the field. He has to do that. They have to keep the momentum. They got to run that clock, and they just have to, and they have to, when they can, try the deep ball to downtown A. Brown and score. And then, with Pittsburgh, if in fact they can get the pressure, especially up the middle. We all know Tom hates being hit. He will start to cry, and he tends to start making mistakes. Believe it or not, it's amazing. Whenever you look at games they lost, it's because he got hit, and he doesn't like it. But I think this game comes down to special teams, and they're going to live up to their name, special. So I know, and with that being said, I know Tomlin wants to get up in that ass, but let's be honest with you. I think Tom's going to pucker up, and he's going to be tighter than the statement I make every morning at 5 o'clock when I say, the kids are never going to hear us. With that being said, I'm taking the Patriots 31-30. Now, Johnny, let me ask you this. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. Which team do you like?
Patriots.
You're going with the Patriots?
It's funny how both them picks were copied. Did you coach him into saying that?
No. On the ride here, he picked the other two teams, so I'm not really sure.
Another part that I saw interesting or found interesting was both your games are by 1 point.
I think these are going to be high-scoring games, and I think they're going to come down to the wire.
Okay, so we're opposites. Then I've got Falcons and Steelers. You've got Packers and Pats.
No, God, we know what that means then. So that means we know my head-to-head is.
Hoping for new blood.
So now what I want to do is a special little segment, and this is going to be a reach out to the Morning Men on Sirius XM Radio Channel 82 to Evan Cohen and Mike Babchek. They're on from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. I just had to call in, and I was talking with Mike Babchek and them, and I got on there, and I want to come up, and I'm calling this segment the worst dressed player or should I say worst dressed person in the NFL. And I want to come out there and show you some pictures because I need people to vote on this.
Are you included in that, like every Saturday?
No, this is just
okay.
a first time segment, everyone.
I meant being worse dressed.
Oh, yes. But guess what? The shirt says it all, people. I don't know if I'm too close, if you can read me and see me, well, or not, but at the end of the day, they are America's team. But first thing I'm going to go into is the first person we got to judge on is himself, is the man himself, Superman. And as you can see, when you wear tiger pants like that, you got to be put in this segment.
That's his idol right there.
If you're going to vote, you can vote we can vote on this, we'll come up with it. Maybe you just vote Superman or Cam, or just go with tiger pants. But I have to ask, this guy has to be put into that segment. Next.
If you don't like it, just put it out as
Next,
standard.
when your head nods yes, but your pants say no, you know what I mean? On Odell Beckham, you got to look. These pants right here, if you got the nerve or the balls to wear them, you're going to be put into this segment.
You need
That the worst?
You need a little more goofy hair color in that one.
And then next I don't know if when it comes to downtown A. Brown, if it's the red belt or the black Rubik's Cube on his head that puts him into this segment. But at the end of the day, that's a fashion statement. Whether or not it's a good one or a bad one, that's on your pick. And then, this is especially for you, Evan Cohen. When it comes to fashion, we got to talk about all four phases. We got to talk about the headset, the sweatshirt, the cutoff hoodie, and for you, Babchek, the sweatpants. At the end of the day, myself, I'm almost thinking that it has to be Belichick as the worst dressed player coach in the NFL. Now, I need all you guys to go on. I need all you guys to go online. You can hit us up on Facebook at Two Guys Just Sport, or you can tweet at us at either at Brandon
Brandon 3804-7137 or at Mike and Two Guys. But hit us up with your decisions and your votes on who you think is the worst dressed in the NFL.
Maybe you could, well, that's on Twitter, right?
Twitter, yes. You can hit us up on Facebook or Twitter.
Maybe you should split that up. Do a players and a coaches dress.
Wow, but I'd have to start looking at some of these coaches.
Although Belichick would have that one
I
every
think
week. So.
there's only one coach that I found that seems to dress as bad as Belichick, and he did it for I don't know if it was last year's last year's All-Pro game or it was the year before. It was Andy Reid wore this.
Oh.
He had on this Hawaiian shirt. It looked like he was wearing a tablecloth, but we're not going to go into that right now. But I want to tell everybody out there, enjoy your championship Sunday.
it,
We got
Sunday.
4 incredible football teams battling for the ultimate prize, which is the Super Bowl. We got 3 out of 4 quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl at one point in their career. We've never really had that before.
That seems to mean a lot to you.
Huh?
That seems to mean a lot to you.
Because it's a highlight, I think, at this point. We got 4 teams, and now we got all these quarterbacks that just win. I mean, does it get any better?
Oh, if we had 4 before, yeah.
The only way these 4 teams will be better is, as we all know, if we want those ratings, there's one team that needs to be in this. And I'm not going to say anything, but if you want ratings, there's a certain particular team that seems to
Everybody does
just
see
bring
that
it all
over there,
in.
right in the corner.
You need the Cowboys in this in order to make your ratings go
I'll
out
probably
the
agree with
roof.
you.
All right, everybody, you enjoy yourself.
Have a great weekend.